So Olivia Rodrigo, this was in our hometown of St. Louis. Now, Juan says Olivia is actually talented because back in the days of yore, I don't know, whenever I would watch an old movie, it seems like women could be smart, pretty, and talented. Now, it's like you're lucky if you get two of the three, right? It seems like our gene pool is shallow. I don't know. But Juan says that she's actually talented. Does she sing well? Is that what it is? Okay, he says like, yeah, she sings well. I mean, she's pretty. But see, he's like, I don't know about the smart, is what he had said on break. Can I say that? You said that. He's like, I don't know about the smart. So see, can't have all three. I love how they've described this. NBC says, pop star Olivia Rodrigo, a vocal advocate for women's reproductive rights. Can we stop right there with the language? Is someone barring you from having to sex? Are they going, no, Olivia, you can't get down. You can't get with that person. No strange for you. You can't get with them, right? No one's saying that. Have you ever seen anyone? Has anyone ever said that to her? No one's ever said that to me. What does women's reproductive rights mean? They act like men who wear big hats that say Republican on them, big old top hats, like old vaudeville villain style, are running around out there telling women that they can't engage in intercourse with other people when they feel like it. No one has ever told a woman that. What they are telling them, however, is that you have a choice before conception. And then after you conceive a child, it's not considered reproductive anymore. You're ending a life. That's science. Now you can dress it up with whatever language you want to make yourself, feel better and sleep better at night. But it's still ending a life. Don't sit here and try to acquit yourself of culpability by calling it something that it isn't and doing this Olympic backbending rhetoric, these rhetorical feats to try to avoid acknowledging what you're actually doing. So at this concert stop in St. Louis, the concert was, it's her Guts concert, Kane. Not to be confused with the character of the anime. It was at Berserker. It was at Enterprise Center. Fans were sharing photos on social media of emergency contraceptive pills. Can I just talk about that for a moment? Now, rape or incest amount to less than 1% of all abortions required, and that's from Planned Parenthood's own publicly available statistics. So let's establish that. We are not going to use a rarity to argue for a universal rule. We're not doing that. So it said they handed out emergency contraception. You know what I hear emergency contraception? All the jokes fire off in my head. Oh no, I accidentally fell down and had sex. Oops. Yeah, it's an emergency. I got to do something after that. I accidentally had to sex. What? I got to do something. This is bad. Dangerous. So they were handing out this emergency contraception. And they were saying, oh, it's banned in Missouri. It's not actually banned in Missouri. But, you can, again, that doesn't make it truer to lie about what actually is available and what isn't. And even NBC was like, oh, it's illegal in Missouri. It isn't. And you still have instances of rape or incest, mother's health, all of that. I mean, that's actually codified. That's a part of every state law. I don't know why these people, well, I know why they lie. They lie about it because they don't actually care about those instances. They use those instances as excuses, but then they pretend that those instances aren't actually allowable by law already and even were predating Roe. And look, I'm just for the sake of an argument, even if it isn't in your state, how horrible of a woman's advocate are you that you saw this coming? The Jackson Women's Health case that essentially kicked Roe from a federal issue to a state issue. How horrible of an advocate for women are you that you saw this coming for years? Ruth Bader Ginsburg warned everyone about it when she was still alive, and yet you did nothing to organize or do anything in your state to make sure that what you wanted was still allowable, especially in these blue states where this has happened. You have even less of an excuse. So all of that stuff is still protected. That's still allowable for women's health, rape, or incest. And again, the rape or incest accounts for less than 1%. And according to Planned Parenthood's own statistics, most abortions are older women. who already have kids. And it is a form of birth control. And I mean, I'm talking like 90-something% of it. Now, these aren't my numbers. These are literally Planned Parenthood's numbers. Again, publicly available on this thing called the internet. It's amazing. Have you guys heard about it? You can find memes there. It's so fun. And so they push this lie because they think you're stupid, which I think is actually kind of misogynistic itself, since we're on the subject. They think you're too stupid. All of this stuff is still, it's actually law, but apparently they don't care enough about it to admit that to you. So they pretend that it doesn't exist. And then they fearmonger. Which brings me back to this act. She slammed the Supreme Court's decision at her set in Glastonbury. She said, I'm devastated and terrified. So many people are going to die because of this. What do you mean they're going to die? What? How would they die? Let's stop the over-the-top, ridiculous, damsel in distress, dramatic language. How are they going to die? I would love for someone to articulate that to me. Unless you're talking about doing a self-blending maneuver with a coat hanger, which, again, that was something that was played up back in the olden days. Seriously, what are you talking about? Women are going to die. The things that you're talking about that you use as the excuse all the time, it's a Mott Bailey argument. They can't go out and say, well, we just wanted, again, Democrats literally co-sponsored or they wrote the bill that was in the Senate. Raphael Warnock was one of the co-sponsors during the special election. This came up. It demanded abortion on demand, taxpayer funded up till the moment of birth. I am not even exaggerating in the slightest. I read the bill. I linked it. I wrote about it. It's a big deal. And there were a ton of Democrats that had signed on to that. That's their official position. Remember when they used to say safe, legal, and rare? Yeah. All the time, funded by you, up until birth. I'm just waiting for them to go, well, what about after birth? I'm just waiting. I mean, I feel like that's a line they're going to cross at some point. So they say this stuff, and they're like, oh, well, women are going to die because of this. What are you talking about? Women are going to die. Babies will. Women babies will. But none of the stuff that they screech about has ever come to pass.